So welcome everyone to our meetup, and help me say welcome to Grania. You can probably see her on the screen. If you are muted, Grania. So if you want to say hello to everyone.
Bravo to Grania.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so
I like
Hello.
hiding in the background better.
Yeah, she's a little bit shy.
No,
but
move to the front.
Grania has been helping us a lot since a long time now, a couple of months already. She started helping us doing some volunteering work, as in fact all the work for the group is all volunteer work from the organizing team, from the presenters. So enjoy, take advantage, because it's a lot of work to put these things together, but it's very nice to bring people together and allow each one of the members to share what they know about Excel, this tool that is capable of amazing things. So welcome, Grania. Thank you for joining us. Our next meetup will be in May 25th. We will be talking about dashboards. Not so much, not necessarily just the visual aspect, but also what's happening behind the scenes to create a dashboard in Excel. Mark Rosenkrantz from Netherlands will be presenting to us. I think it will be his first presentation for these meetup groups, so it will be nice to have a new member presenting. Feel free to join for us. This is a calendar for this month, although we are reaching the end of the month. There's still a couple of sessions after this one. I'll leave the picture there just so you can take a picture if you are interested, and then you can follow other meetup groups, you can find other topics, and you can follow for us on LinkedIn. He always posts this calendar for the month at the beginning of the month. And then we have a shout out to Microsoft Toronto, Microsoft Reactor Toronto. The Reactor program by Microsoft exists in different cities around the world, and it is meant to allow these type of events by the community. They also have their own meetup group, and they also run these sessions, allowing different members from the community to present about not only Excel, but any technology related topic. So if you are into learning other technologies, feel free to check them out. They have sessions happening all the time about many different things. There's a Facebook group for consultants, Excel consultants. So if you are one of them and want to join them, there's the link there. Grania, she will be putting the link on the chat window. So if you are interested, feel free to join. And I'll take this opportunity to let you know that I'll be opening registrations for my second group of students for my program where I teach about Excel automation. So we start with Power Query, which is a big deal, but then we also talk about other Excel features, data model, and other things that allow us to automate processes, reporting processes in Excel. I'll be running an event, free event soon. If you are interested, the link will be in the chat so that you can register to get notified. And just one quick news about Excel. There's things happening about Excel, new things about Excel happening all the time, new features, changes in the program. Just recently, Power Query for Mac, Excel for Mac, just got available, became available for generally. So it was in beta, available for the beta users, but now anyone using Microsoft 365 for Mac will finally have access to connect files, to connect to Excel and CSV files from Excel for Mac. It was not possible until recently, only refreshing queries, but now you can also create those queries, which is a big deal, I believe, for people who are using Mac. And that's it. So enough talking. It's time to present our presenter, our guest today. Let me bring up my cheat sheet here. I'll be reading from our meetup page. So thank you, Meni, for joining us. Meni Porat, he is a private tutor in several subjects. He's passionate about learning different languages. He has written the first Hebrew-Arabic dictionary, 2,000 plus similar words both in meaning and pronunciation. Meni, he is behaving very well, because at this time he would probably have 50 plus corrections to make to my accent and pronunciation and all that, because English is not my first language, as you all know. But Meni has been involved with different initiatives related to translation and between English, Hebrew, Arabic, all that. And he has composed the most comprehensive list of keyboard shortcuts in Excel. And so hopefully Meni will have the opportunity to share that with us, if anyone is interested in seeing that. And also he is about to complete an Excel book, 100 plus amazing tricks with a new sequence function. Can you imagine just the sequence function? That's pretty amazing. We will have all the links for you to connect with Meni on LinkedIn and the other platforms where he is available. You can see them on screen as well. Feel free to reach out to myself as well if you have any questions or comments, and to tag us on social media so that other people can join the group. It's not Toronto anymore. There's a lot of, we have members from all over the world. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Meni, for joining us, for stepping up to present about this topic. We have never had a session about dates and times, so it's a great topic for us too. We are looking forward to hear what you have to teach today. Take the mic and the stage is yours.
Okay. Can you give me control?
So you can share your screen, and
can you give me control?
You don't need control. That would be if you wanted to control my mouse and my keyboard. So you can just simply share your screen and then go from there.
Just want to make sure that everybody sees the worksheet.
Not yet. So you need to share your screen again, because when I shared my screen, I canceled your screen sharing that you were using before.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Okay. So
thank you.
Just a few words, because before I begin, first of all, good morning or afternoon or evening or night to everybody. Welcome to my webinar. First of all, before we dive into the lecture, I'd like to say a few words. I'd like to thank the hosts, Vivek Patel and Célia Alves, for granting me the opportunity to explain certain issues concerning dates and times in Excel. Thank you for organizing such a huge array of MVPs. This really put me in disarray. In case you forgot, this isn't an Excel MVPs convention in Redmond, Washington. It's just a webinar broadcast from Ramat Gan, Israel. I also want to thank my dear friend, Dr. Isaac Gottlieb, an ex-MVP himself, for his wholehearted, unconditional support. I'm flattered to find out that there are so many MVPs who have come all the way to listen to a rookie. So if some of the things I'm about to demonstrate are already known to you, please bear with me. Okay, and say Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak to the Muslims who are watching this webinar and fasting at the same time. Ramadan Mubarak likulli saimin. The subject of dates and times in Excel, and of course also in our daily life, is not a trivial one. First of all, we are accustomed to the decimal numeric system, base 10, whereas we measure time with a hexa system, base 6. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours a day, 30 days in a month, etc. So, for example, we can easily calculate 21 plus 34, right? But if today is the 21st of April, it'll take us some time to find the date 34 days from now. It's not an easy solution. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Meni Porat. I live in Israel. I teach English, Arabic, and Excel, and also Math and Hebrew. In each of the first 3 subjects, I've written a book or am writing a book. In Arabic, as Célia already mentioned, I've written and published the first world dictionary of 200 similar words in Hebrew and Arabic, similar both in meaning and in sound. In English, I've written the most comprehensive glossary of homophones, Homophones are words that sound the same but spelled differently and have a different meaning. For example, sun, 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 S-U-N, and sun, S-O-N, or fair, 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 F-A-I-R, or fair, F-A-R-E, or C-C, S-E-E, or S-E-A, and some 2,000 more. Some examples can be seen on my blog.
Wow.
In Excel, after a lecture I gave a few months ago, in the London Meetup group about the sequence function, I decided to write a book about it. It is called, as Célia already mentioned, 120 Amazing Tricks with the Sequence Function, and it is about to be published this summer. By the way, you can watch the video's lecture on YouTube. Since this issue of dates and times is so comprehensive, the tips I'm about to show you today are just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, especially when we only have 1 hour. So in one caveat, before we begin. As we all know, there is a difference between the date format used by most of the world, the DDMMYY system, and the MMDDYY, which is used only in 5 countries, among which is Canada and the USA, of course. In all the relevant examples, I'm going to use the DDMMYY format of dates. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, I'd like to start with a bug in Excel. I don't know whether all of you or most of you know this bug, but a short explanation is in place. Most of the world uses the Gregorian calendar, which is based on the solar system, which is the sun, unlike the Jewish and the Muslim calendars, which are lunar calendars based on the moon. The solar calendar has 365 days. However, the revolution of our planet Earth around the sun lasts 365 days plus a quarter of a day. So in order to synchronize our calendar with the solar year, a new calendar was introduced in 1582 by Pope Gregorius VIII. This calendar replaced the Julian calendar attributed to Julius Caesar. And Caesar is another example for a homophone, because Caesar is an emperor, but Caesar is also a person who seizes or catches. The main idea is this: since each solar year is a quarter of a day longer than our calendar, we need to add 1 full day every 4 years. This happens in February, which then has 29 days instead of 28. Such a year which has 1 additional day in February is called a leap year. But here's the catch: not every year divisible by 4 is a leap year. The rule is the following: if the year is divisible by 100, it must also be divisible by 400 in order to become a leap year. So the year 1600, 2000, or 2400 are leap years, but the years 1700, 1800, or 1900 are not. And if you're familiar with the date system in Excel, you probably know that a day in Excel is represented by an integer starting from January 1st, 1900, which is number 1, till today. Today in Israel is April 21st, 2022, and the number would be 44,672. So the developers of Excel, or to be more exact, the developers of the Lotus 123 spreadsheet program from which Excel evolved, erroneously programmed the year 900 as a leap year. This caused several problems that I will show you later on. Number 1, the weekday function shows wrong weekdays for the first 60 days of the year 900. 2, in Excel, the date February 29th, 1900 is a valid date, which is wrong. 3, therefore, weekday for February 29th, 1900, and the next day, March 1st, 1900, is the same, Thursday. You can, of course, check if what I say is correct. In addition to this bug, Excel cannot calculate dates before January 1st, 1900. There is a post on my blog explaining all the above mentioned problems. The lecture, as you can see from this dashboard, is divided into categories. You see the colors? I call this the dashboard. It's not really a dashboard. It's like it's a launch board from which I launched the worksheets. So I divided I have for some 50 demonstrations, 50 examples, and I divided them according to categories. For example, the green one is the second, minute, and hour. The yellow one is the day and date, day and week. The purple one is month, season, quarter. The blue one is year calendar. And then I have a small joke about the meaning of the word date in English. And first of all, I want to start with a bug in Excel and the oddity. So what do I mean, the bug in Excel? If you see here, when you open Excel and you ask Excel, what was the date of January 1st, 1900, Excel will tell you it was Sunday, but this is wrong. Because I've devised a program in which you can see for yourself the real date for January 1st, 1900 was Monday and not Sunday. Okay, and if I take the date like 100 years ahead, 2000, you can see here Excel's date and my date are the same. So I developed quite a complicated formula here. I'm just going to show it now, but you'll be able to see it for yourself later on. In which you can see the date calculated by both systems. As I showed you before, the date for January 1st, 1900 is wrong. Should be Monday. You can check in any calendar. And again, the date for the last day of 1899, whereas Excel doesn't return anything, my calendar shows that it was Sunday. Okay. Everything is clear, Célia?
So yeah,
okay.
I think so.
So I'll share this the calendar I developed, and you can check for yourself and see the bugs in Excel. And another one that I'm going to explain now is the date 29th of February 1900. Okay, so my Excel says that it is an illegal date, and I explain afterwards the calculation of the circle. How do I know this is a invalid date or illegal date? Okay, but it says, as I showed you before. Oh, let's open an Excel file. We can open an Excel file and I'll show you. If we show the you can see here if I type number one.
Can you drag that spreadsheet into that screen on top of this one?
How can I do that?
So just did it open on another screen for you? So
yes.
Just drag it and put it on top of this one, and then you can close it or something like that, or minimize it.
How do you mean drag?
Do you have a second screen with the other
Yes.
spreadsheet? So click on the green ribbon at the top in the Excel application, and
can
then
you see it now? Can you
and
see
then
it now?
drag it into the screen that where you have the other spreadsheet, because that's the one we are still seeing. We are seeing the spreadsheet with your presentation, with your formulas, not the new one.
Do you see this screen with the date, month, and year of
yeah, with
February?
the
Okay, so let's do it something else. Let's do it here. Okay.
Yeah.
If I type here number one, okay, you can see that it's January 1st, 1900. Everybody sees the date.
Yes.
Okay. If I type with number 60, it'll be date. The date would be 29th of February 1900, which is wrong. Okay, I'm going to show you afterwards why it's wrong. And if so, this is the wrong date, and then I'm going to show. If you don't trust the my algorithm, you can see it for yourself afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If even here, Excel itself says this is the wrong date. But if I say, for example, February 29th, 2000, then you see that we're synchronized. Both of us agree, both Excel and I agree that it was a Tuesday, or let's say even a 2020, which was also a leap year, and then afterwards I'll explain the algorithm, was also agreed that the day was Saturday. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so what is the cycle of Excel? So as I said, the cycle of Excel is 400 years. And you can see here, this is the wrong date. If you take 400 years ahead, you see that the date for January 1st, year 2300 was Monday. If you take, for example, here, the year 2000, then we're synchronized, the same date. Excel shows here. This was a Saturday, 7 was Saturday. And again, for the year, for example, even 1901, okay? 1901 is okay, but 1900, February 2nd, you see the difference? February 2nd, 1900 shows a wrong date, okay? Now, how do I calculate this? How do I calculate this? As we said, in a circle, in every century, we have 76 years, which are non-leap years, and 24 leap years. Okay? And in 4 centuries, we have 76 multiplied by 4, so we have 304 years of in which we have 365 days, and 99 years in which we have 1 additional day. So the 24 days added in 4 centuries are 96 plus the 1 in the year, which is divisible by 400. So we have the total of 97. So this is the formula: 365 multiplied by 400 years plus 97 is the number total days in 400 years. If you divide it by 7, you get an even number, a number without any remainder, which shows that we're going to have the same date. The weekday after a cycle of 400 years is going to be the same. Okay. So we have actually 2 bugs in Excel. What are the 2 bugs of Excel? Okay, first of all, as I said, this bug, this shows a wrong date. There's no such date, 29th of February 1900. And the proof is that the weekday shows, if I use the end of month, taking the date, the month, the year, and day 1, adding zeros, so I'm supposed to get the last day of the month. And this formula, weekday, shows me the correct day, which was a Tuesday. And another method is using the end of month to calculate the number of days. Sorry. The number of days, end of month, since we said that January 1st in 1900 was number 1, right? So 59 is the number of days that have passed from the first day, from January 1st until this date. So only 59 days passed, which means we have 31 days of January and 28 days of February, not 29. So we have actually 2 bugs. First of all, no such date, 1900 was not a leap year. And the second one is the weekday with end of month. The right result shows a different result from the first formula, which is wrong. Okay. Now, another things that we have in Excel, which are quite, I call it an oddity in Excel, like the space oddity of what's his name, the singer? I forgot his name. Okay. Okay. So, for example, Excel can accept an illegal date. Of course, there are no 35 days in any month. Okay, no such thing. But Excel accepts it. Well, what does it do? It translates it to a real legal date. So it takes the 31 days, the 35 days, and says, okay, on May, we usually have 31 days. So we have 4 additional days which are going to be taken to the next month. So the real date behind this one is June 4th, 1931. It also correctly spells it's the weekday. The weekday for this date, which is of course more relevant to this date, is correct. This is Thursday. Okay. Some oddities of Excel. Look at, for example, the date function with several parameters. So, for example, you can write the year, like 2021, but a minus a month, a month with a minus sign. You might think that this is illegal, but this is perfectly legal in Excel. Excel accepts this date. It takes off 2 months from the end of this year, and we go to the year 2020, and the month is October, which is 2 months smaller than December. The same applies not only to months, but also to days. If you take this date, both the month is negative and the day is negative, so it does the same. Takes down 2 months, so we are at the beginning of October, and takes down 3 days, so we are the 27th of September in 2020. The same applies if you don't specify a legal month, you specify 0. And the same applies if you specify both zeros. It takes you to this date, and so on and so forth. But these, for example, are not legal. If all 3 parameters or arguments are negative, then it's illegal. The same if all 3 are zeros. If one of them is zeros, it's okay. If 2 of them is zeros, it's okay. If this one would be 0, it would be illegal because 0 is the first year where Excel started. So there's no, and for Excel doesn't know a date like 1899. Okay, so what's the trick? How do we solve this problem? If you have, for example, the year, let's go back to, was this clear, this explanation?
Yeah,
Célia?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Let's go back.
Yeah, some people are arguing are commenting on the chat saying that instead of a bug, we could consider this kind of a feature of Excel. For example, the 35 days in May to consider
okay. No,
the extra 4.
I called it bug or oddity. First of all, I showed a real bug in Excel. The bug in Excel is that it shows that the January 1st in 1900 was not as Excel says. This is the first bug. The second bug is that Excel thinks that February in 1900 was a leap year, and it was not. Excel year 1900 should had only 28 days in February, not more. That's all. This is another bug. Now I'm speaking about oddities. This what I showed you now, this one is not a bug. It's probably a feature, but it's interesting. It's even more interesting like this one, yes? Because Excel accepts illegal dates. I didn't say that this is a bug. I said this is an oddity, something very queer, weird, strange.
It's how the date function is working. So it's
yes, that's the way the date function. And then I showed another oddity about the date function. No, not this one, sorry. This one, okay? Okay, so can you proceed? Now I want to explain about the leap year. How do we know if a year is a leap year? And this I've devised quite a complicated, or not so complicated formula, but it's very clear to see, because you can see the formula here, and there's an explanation here, and what I call it two levels of mod function. I suppose that most of, or maybe all of you are familiar with the mod function Excel. It's the remainder of taking a number and dividing it by the second parameter. So what I do here is this one. This year, 1900 was not a leap year. So 0 is, of course, a negative and 1 positive. But for example, this year, 2000 was a leap year. How do I do it? I take 3 mods, or actually not mod. So I take, for example, this one. Is this year 2000 divided by 4? Yes. So is 0, right? The mod, the result of this part of the function formula is 0. If you take the mod, you get true, right? This is the first true. The next one, is this number divided by 400? And again, the result is true. Is this the third part? Is this number divided by 100? And the result is true. So we have 3 truths, and this is like wrapped with another mod in which I sum the 3 of them, which is true, and divide by 2. And the remainder tells me whether it's a leap year or not. If the remainder is 0, like if 2 are right, if 2 are correct, like 900, if you take, for example, 900, you see 2 truths. Why 2 truths? The first one, 900 is divided by 4. That's true. And 900 is also divided by 100, right? So the result would be 0, because if you take 3 and divide by 2, then you have if you take 2 and divide by 2, you have 0. But like this year, for example, 1952, we have only 1 true. Why? Because it's divided by 4, divisible by 4, but not divisible neither by 400 nor by 100. So we have 1. If we divide 1 by 2, then the remainder is 1. So this is a real leap year. So now we understand the logic of a leap year. Okay. Any questions?
Not urgent questions, no.
Okay. I'm going to move to something completely different. I'm going to show you something which everyone will find interesting, because it shows a calendar in many languages. Okay, so you can check the language. For example, your language would be, I removed the Z, but okay. So are you familiar with this trick? The trick is to open a drop-down list, just press the Alt and
Arrow button down, scroll down.
Does it work? Sorry. Maybe. Data validation is okay. I don't understand why. So I'm referring to a data validation.
No worries.
Huh?
No worries. We can wait. Or if you
I'm
want
referring
to
to
move
this
on.
data. I wanted to show 2 things, but neither works. I'm sorry, because this is supposed to be a data validation list, as defined here, and it doesn't work for some reason. And again, of course, you can check if you open a data validation list. Then if you press Alt and the down arrow, it's supposed to work. Okay, we'll skip that. Never mind. Let's go to the another example. Days till the end of the month. So this is something very interesting, because the result includes even the part of the day. So for example, if you take end of month of now, it tells you, so here in Israel, we are on the April 21st already.
Just a second.
Yes, okay.
Okay, it seems that is muted now. Just maybe.
Okay.
I just muted everyone. Should work now. You can. I'm going to. Okay. Meni, do you want to try to speak? See if I muted you, please unmute. Can you unmute, because we are not cannot hear you,
Okay.
Meni.
Can
Now
you hear me now?
Now,
Okay.
now we can. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I unmuted myself. I thought
Yeah.
I don't have control over this, but okay. So as you can see on this screen, we have the number of days till the end of the month. And it's accurate because it tells you even the part of the day. Because now we're on April 21st here in Israel, and we have 9 days and 0.95 days. Okay? Because the time here in Israel is, you can see the date and time. So we have already consumed like 5% of the day, of the new day. 1 hour and 11 hours and 11 minutes is like 5%. Is this clear? Nice trick. Okay. Tomorrow date at the same time. So this is a very simple method to add 1 day to get tomorrow. You can say today plus 1, you can say now plus 1, which gives you not only the date, but also the time of now. Okay. The shortened method to get the end of month. You have 2 methods. This is the more classical one, more traditional one, in which you use the end of month date D, D2, E2 plus 1, and nothing, in which you don't specify the last parameter of date. And the same here, you don't have to specify the last parameter or the last argument of date. You need only the year in D2, the month in which you add 1, and then nothing. If you omit the last argument, yet you get the last day of the previous month. So if E plus 1 is 3, you get the last date of 2 of February. Is this clear?
I believe so. Let us know if there's any questions. So
yes, we have, and I have another method to find the last date of last date of this month. It's E date of the same date, the same trick of the date in which you omit the last argument. But the trick is to add 1 month to the month, number 1 to the month, to the second argument. Okay. How are we in this concern time? Are we in?
we still have time. We still have 40 minutes until 7. So we can say until 7 here in Toronto.
Until 2. Until
Yeah.
2 a.m.
Thank
here.
you.
Okay.
If you can, right? Because it's
No
so
problem.
late for you. Thank you, man.
No problem. Okay. I'm sorry for I just wanted to show the this is one in 21 languages, but never mind. I show it afterwards. Okay.
Maybe after we can reopen the file
problem.
and see if it works.
12 months. 12 months. You see the list, they are both the same, in which I use the famous sequence function, and you get the list of 12 months of the year, the chosen year, in which you get the last date of each year. If we go to 2022, you see, for example, that this year, 2020, has 29 days in February, according to algorithm that we have shown earlier. This is a leap year, okay? Because it is divided by 4, not by 100 and not by 400, by 4. And this is a leap year. Okay, but if we go to 2022, then we have only 28 days on February on both systems, okay?
So what are those 2 systems? Just to clarify.
This is 2 methods to find the last day for each month of the year, okay? We have here on the list, on column A and on column G, we have 2 methods, the same 12 dates of the last month of each month of the year. If we chose, for example, the year 2022, we have all the months of 2022, the last day. Okay.
Yeah, so
Very
method
simple.
one uses the date function with the sequence function, and the
This
other one uses end
the
of month
end of month, yes.
and
It's
date and sequence. Okay.
a bit complicated, but the same trick of using the 2+ sequence. So it begins with 0, so 2 plus 0 will be second, as in if you omit the last part, the last argument of date, the same, you see, the last argument of date, then you get the last date of the previous
day.
Yes, this is the same trick used again and again in many functions or many formulae. Okay. How many days in the month? This is also a very simple method using the same trick. Day of date, year 2022, month February, but if you add 1, you get March. By omitting the third argument, then you get the end date, the last day of February.
The previous month.
Yes, it's as if it's a trick to avoid it. So, but if you're, for example, if you write, you see, on 2020 month February had 29 days, but in 2021 it had only 28 days. Okay, the same trick again and again. I hope it doesn't really bore you. You don't feel bored. Okay. Building date from digits. 2 methods. If you have 5 or 6 digits, okay, for example, this is the format. The format is this. Actually, we have the last 2 digits are the year, the 2 middle digits are the month, and the first digit or 2, well, here we have only 1 digit, here we have 2 digits is the day. And the trick is to use the mod divided by this method. I'm not going to explain this. You'll be able to see it for yourself because I don't believe that we have enough time to present and explain everything. If there are any questions, I can stop and try to explain. If not, then I'm going to continue. Okay.
Célia, there was a quick question by Henry, if you can ask.
The one about the preferred methods?
Yeah, which one? In your previous example, you had 2 different dates.
About which?
End of the date calculation. So which one is preferred way?
Which one do you prefer? Which one are you referring to? Which example are you referring to?
In your previous example.
How many days in a month? This one?
You had a end of month calculation both sides. Yeah,
this one. Okay.
Yeah.
You think about the preferred one. This one is a bit shorter. This one is a bit longer. That's all the same. This is wrapped with the end of. If you look closely at both methods, it's actually this one appears here. But this is superfluous because it can do it in a short method. This one, you see, this part or this full formula is part of this formula: date, month, sequence, 1. The only thing that we do here is that we start from Sunday the end of month is one month. Okay, is this clear?
Thank you.
It's the same. This is simpler and shorter. I would prefer this one. If you're referring to the question of preferences, this is the preferred one. But the same trick is used in both of them. Okay. Okay. This we've discussed. With this we've discussed. Any question about this? If not, I'm going forward. Now we'll build date. Not using a number like here. Here we use the number trick by modifying. Yes, right. The mod function, as I explained earlier, is actually division in Excel. Okay. But now we build it with text. So actually, this is even though it's text. By the way, I use the let function. Some of the I don't know whether all of you are familiar with the let. Is a new feature published by Microsoft a few months ago, or maybe a year. And then after, in a few minutes, I'm going to show a few lambdas too. Okay, actually what we do here is convert this number to text and then create from this a date. And the date is a valid date, as you can see here, even though it's text. Okay? This is something really also the same. You can take 7 digits or 8 digits and it yields the correct answer. Next one. You remember the oddity of what I call when you have a date. This is a date that if you take the weekday, year, month, and day, and it's also the same, yields the same result of year of day, month, and year. Can you see? DMY is equal to YMD. Is this clear? Look, please have a look at the formula. The formula here is actually what's inside here. It's the formula text.
So what's your point there is that the weekday
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for Excel whether the weekday is a year, month, day, or day, month, year. It's the same result.
But for that particular date or any date? Any
date. I can check. Let's put it December. Okay, you see the same. Any date. It picked by chance. It's a random number, random year. Any year, if you use this year, month, day with a weekday, and the month, year, day with a weekday is the same result, as you can see for yourself. Is this clear?
Okay, as a text, right?
Yes. As a weekday, not as a text.
No, I mean the value that you put inside, you were using double quotes, so you were like entering the date as a text.
J is a number. This is text, but it refers to this is a number. 3 is a number.
Yeah, but exactly. But when you are concatenating with backslash and you are transforming that as a string to a string.
Yes, you are correct. Value. The result of what's in parentheses is a string, but weekday knows to take this string and translate it to a number. And the same applies. It doesn't matter for it, whether it's a YMD or a DMY. That's interesting.
Yeah, okay. I never thought of that.
Okay, good. Let's go on. Okay, this is something. This is something maybe we can skip it. We can do it when you sum hours, for example. So there are several methods. You know, like sometimes you can use the format of H in parentheses in brackets, but it's simpler to do it like this way. Define this field as a sum, as a number. Okay, this is the sum multiplied by 24. And the number would be, or the result would be, with decimal fraction, and which is, of course, if you run a business and you want to calculate hours, this is a simpler method to calculate the salary that you're going to give your employees, right? It would be more easier to multiply this number instead of 71 dot is a semicolon 08 or something. Okay. Negative hours. This is also something I believe that most of you are familiar with. What happens if your employee works at the night shift? So if he works from 9 a.m. to 19 a.m., everything is okay. So he works for 10 hours. But if he works from 9 p.m. for 21 hours until next day 8 p.m. the night shift, then Excel doesn't give you any. It gives you an error. Excel cannot calculate negative hours. So for that we have two solutions. The first one is the mode by which you subtract B9. You subtract A9 from B9. And the mode 1, and the method is, the result, of course, is legal and correct. Between 21 hours to 8 next morning is 11 hours. Okay, what the mode does is the complement not with an I, but with an E, to complete. This is the part that is missing to the whole, to the one. The same applies to this formula, which I'm not going to explain, but it's very simple. The what matters is what is in the brackets. So you compare B15 to A15. If B15 is smaller than A15, then the result is true, which means 1. So you add 1 to the negative number, and again we get to the same result of the complement to 1. Okay, next one. Okay, this is a nice trick that I found. Suppose you want to find out, you have a list of days in October, for example, and you want to find only the weekdays that you want. For example, only weekdays greater than Tuesday and less than Thursday, which means what is greater than 3 and less than 5 is only 4. So this gives you only Wednesdays in this month. So you may ask, what if you want to see, for example, all the days? So you put here 0, and you put here 8, and here you have all the days, nothing missing. Okay? Simple but clever. Okay. Now another trick here was suppose you want to know which part of the day we are in. Okay. So for us in Israel, we are at night. I've composed a small lookup or XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP. We can use either of these functions, and you get the right result. And the number is the division of the last hour for the night. Until 4 a.m. it's night. From 5 a.m. to midday is morning. From midday to 5 p.m. is afternoon. From 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. is night, etc. If you feel, you can feel free to change. For example, if you think that evening ends at 20 hours, you can change it, and the formula works perfectly without any problem. Afterwards, I'm going to show 3 methods with adaptations to show all the hours of the day, which part of the day they belong. Okay. Okay. Another one is I wanted to know how many Saturdays or any other day between 2 dates. What I have here is 3 different formulae. I'm not going to explain them. You feel free to use them. This one and this one are quite similar. So instead of the sum product, I just use the sum, which is good enough. And this one uses the 365 filter function. But somebody asked previously about preferences. I have no any particular preference to any of them. As long as they work perfectly correctly, I have no problem. Of course, I have a tendency to use the shorter one, but it's up to you to decide. It's up for you to decide. Okay. This is something interesting. On my computer, I have two sets or two settings of 2 languages. Hebrew, as you can see here, you probably don't know, you can't read it, and English. So the date value can translate this date, okay, this date into a real date. Yes, you can see that this date, if you're going to edit it to a date, so you're going to have the correct date, right? Mm-hmm. The same, okay? And the same if I apply this date in Hebrew. I take this one, drag it here. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, move backward. I'm sorry for okay, so ignore this one, but this one works. If you put it in words, the date value can translate it to a correct date. Okay. Another one, text to date. The text here appears in like in documents, you know, like not a real date, July 26, 1918, and it translates correctly to this date. Okay, let's change it to June, for example, C. Okay, C works correctly, or I don't know, May or September, whatever. This works correctly. The same applies to the Hebrew. Let's see if it works correctly, or I'm just imagining. Okay, I'm going to write here Mai, which is May. Okay, this works correctly. It says 21st of Mai. Mai in Hebrew is May, 3 letters like in English. And this is March, März. Okay, and this is January, January. So let's say if I change this to February. Looks also perfectly correct. Okay, so it of course it works correctly because I have two systems or two definitions of languages on my computer. It can work both in English and in Hebrew. The interface here is in English, but I can change the interface to Hebrew. Okay. Something with this is really not important. Just showing the number of seconds in this date. So it's only a question of customization. Use the custom. The custom is SS. Just a second. You see SS? If you put
between
SS
square brackets.
Yes, it gives you the number of seconds in a period of time. So you see 30 hours and 29 minutes and 24 seconds is this number in seconds. Okay.
Someone was commenting about that format that we could also use. So when you showed that example of working a shift from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. next day.
This one, you mean
another
this one?
way. Yeah, so another way to also display that, calculating the difference between the two dates, that is giving you an error there on row 4.
Yes.
If you apply the correct number formatting with hours in between square brackets, should also display the correct number of hours.
This is but this is the tampering with the formats. I mean, only computation, only Excel, only formulae. Maybe you're right. I didn't check it.
Yeah, so it's a way. Yeah, it's another way to get the formula to display correctly.
Could be. I don't say that it's wrong. I just say it's more complicated or more cumbersome to go into the definitions and formatting and change something instead of using a simple formula. Either this one or that one.
Okay.
It's only a suggestion. I believe that most of you are familiar with this problem of the negative hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is nothing new. Let's go back where we stopped. This is where we stopped. Okay, this one is like rounding an hour. 3 methods of rounding an hour, or 2 methods. Suppose I want only the hour without the minutes. The time is 6:24, and I want only the 6th one. So one method would be using the trunc, and the second one would be using the int. And then the next one is I want to tell Excel this one. If you are more than 30 minutes past the hour, round it upwards. But if you're below, like here, round it downwards. So here's the formula which rounds it correctly. So you see 6:24, round it because it's less than half an hour, it rounds it downwards. But if this hour, for example, this hour, round it upwards. From 9:37, we have 10 o'clock. From 12:45, we have 13 hours. From 11:32, we have 12 hours, etc., etc. Is this clear? If it's beyond 30, round upwards. If it's below 30, round upwards. Round downwards. Okay. Okay, and this one, only upwards. Okay, 2 methods to round upwards. I'm not going to linger on this. Let's go back. Okay. Now I want to calculate the number of years between 2 dates. But the problem is that I don't want like this one, date diff, to give me a full number of years, because you see the difference in the date, the start date and the end date don't end at the same month and day. So this is not very accurate. The date diff, yeah, I suppose you're all familiar with the date diff. These two ones or three ones are very, very accurate. And I took here the 365.25, 365 days and a quarter. As I said, if you calculate the difference between years in a period of time more than 4 years, you should take the average. As I said, in 4 years, the average is 365.25. And you can see that the answers or the results are very, very close. This, for example, with the first one, the yellow one and the green one are exactly the same, whereas the middle one, the year frac, is almost the same. But the difference is very, very small. Okay. Looking at how much time do we have? About 18 minutes. Célia? Célia? You hear me?
Sorry,
Yes,
I was muted and I was talking, but you could not hear
No,
me.
it's
Yes,
no
yes.
problem.
Yes. Yeah, you can still
We have
go
about
for
18 minutes. Okay, just
Yeah,
a second. Just want to see a gap in minutes. How far are we from the end? Okay, gap in minutes. Let's go back. So here I want to check whether the differences in time are always 2 minutes. Okay, so what I did here is use the round with 4 digits afterwards. If you use less than 4 digits, then you won't get the correct result. So for example, this one is false because the difference between A3 and A2 is more than 2 minutes, but this is correct. A4 minus A3 is 2 minutes. A5 minus A4 is 2 minutes. This is again false because the difference between A6 and A5 is 3 minutes. And again, A7 minus A6 is 2 minutes. And this is the best result that I found out, because if you use any other function without rounding to the correct number of digits, for example, if you say A3 minus A2 is 3 minutes, but the number let's number. You see, it's a very small number. So whenever you take only 4 digits after the decimal point, it's good enough to get a true result, a correct result. That's what what I want to say. Okay. If, for example, I take the F1 divided by 24 times 60. In 2 minutes, I'm going to custom it to numbers. And can you see? Can you see this one? This one, this one. If you use only the round, you get the wrong results. But if you use four digits after the round, then you get the correct result. Okay? Okay. This is a joke because the date in English has several meanings. One of the main meanings is the fruit of the palm tree. Another meaning is the date in the everyday use, and the third one is like a meeting. So this is a joke, which the problem is this: you register to Tinder, or I suppose everybody knows what Tinder is. There are 4 girls that you would like to date, but the choice is hard. So I wrote this function or this formula for choose, and each F9 chooses another candidate. Sometimes it's Joan, sometimes it could be Rachel, could be Joan, could be Elaine, could be Mimi. It's very simple. Somebody, I posted it on the LinkedIn, and somebody commented that you can choose any other function instead of choose, like index and match, etc. But this is the simplest one for me. If you don't have too many candidates, then choose is good enough. Okay. Today's weekday, very simple. You don't have to stay in order to find the weekday today. Here in Israel, we are already on Thursday, so the 5 is Thursday. I don't know whether the system you use probably another system in which Sunday you have it too, right, Célia?
Sunday we have. What's the questions?
If you write Sunday, what date will you have? If the weekday is Sunday, what number would you have?
It depends on the system you choose, I believe.
No, in your country.
Well, there's people use calendars in different ways. Some people start the week on Sunday.
If you write weekday, for example, yes? 1.
Is it 1? I don't know. I guess we can, it depends. Weekday, is it,
yes,
I don't know. Is it 1?
The return type.
5?
Okay, no.
Or Sunday?
There are several methods of the weekday. You can use 1 to 7, like we use in our country or in Europe. But in this, I understand in some countries, then Sunday would be not 1 but 2. I think so.
So if I say weekday of today's date?
Yes, today's Thursday.
Today is 3. Today is number 3. It gives me them. It gives me 3. Today's Thursday, 3. So
you don't have Thursday today. You have Wednesday. I have Thursday.
No, yeah, correct. Well, today for me it's Wednesday, so it's 3.
Okay, not 4. Okay, that's what I thought. It's not the same system.
Okay.
Okay. Depends. Maybe when you refer to the date, the weekday, this doesn't need any weekday, for example, right? If you write weekday today, is the same result, right? The weekday of the day is supposed to give the same result, but this is another method. Instead of the regular weekday, use this one. Why? Because you divide it by 7, and the remainder from 7 is the day 5, because the cycle of the week is of course 7 days. Okay, next one. Now, how many days since last weekday? For example, how many days since last Monday? Okay. I don't understand why. Okay, 1. Since we are on Thursday, right? There have been 4 days since Sunday, right? Sunday, weekday 1 is Sunday. Okay. If we are on Thursday, 0 days. But if we are on Friday, then we have 6 days. Okay, 6 days since Friday. Okay. The opposite one. What date was last chosen weekday? What date was last Saturday or last Friday? Last Friday was April 15th. For you to say this has no difference. Or last Sunday was April 17th, right? Another one. Again, using the last year date without specifying the year. Can you see the formula? You don't want to see the date 2022 12 31 or date like end of month. Remember the end of month? We could have written end of month of 2022 12 or 13th. What trick? 6. Just a second. And this, of course, is the same. Supposed to be the same, right? Not the same year. Okay, I wrote another year. If I change it to 2021, same. And the formula is this. This, of course, uses you need the date to find out today's date. Okay, today's date, or any day, or actually the year, the end of the year of today. If you know today, this is a function, but if you want to know the last year of today, without specifying the year, this is a nice method to do it. Is this clear? You don't have to need you don't need the end of month, or etc. Okay. Okay, this is a lambda. I suppose it's at least some of you are familiar with the lambda, the new feature that Microsoft declared a few months ago. This is let's see the lambda itself. The lambda is first weekday. Can you see? Can you see the formula itself, or the lambda itself?
We can see it, yes.
Okay, so the question is this.
The new formula editor, right?
Yes, the AFE, what they call. Okay. The question is this. What date was the first Wednesday or any other weekday in 2022? And this is the formula here. So we can see that Wednesday, the first Wednesday on 2022 was January 5th. You can check for yourself. Or what was Sunday, the first Sunday in 2021? It was Tuesday, was January 3rd, 2021. The first Sunday was this date. Okay, good. Let's go on. Where were we? Okay, we can close the lambda now. Now, suppose you have a month. This is the month of April, and you want to find out to which quarter this month belongs. So you can find here that the result is Q2, which means that April belongs to the second quarter of the year. This is the date, this is the month. So you can take the month. This is the formula. Of course, there are many methods to find the quarter of a given date. A few days ago, a friend, a friend of yours, I think, Célia, someone, a Portuguese person, he uploaded to LinkedIn some 15 methods or something of how to calculate the quarter of the year according to a date or according to a month. Okay. And this is something that might be more practical. Two situations. For example, you're a teacher in a kindergarten and you want to celebrate only the kids whose birthday is between these 2 days. Days, not only month and day, but also the year. Okay, for example, a kindergarten teacher wants to celebrate only those people or those children born between these 2 dates of the same year. Okay, so the formula would be this one. Okay, this one. But if you are, for example, you're an HR person and you want to celebrate the employees born between certain dates, not regarding the year they were born. It could be born in 2007, 2008, 2012, whatever. Just to celebrate with all the employees, then you need only the month and day for, of course, this one. Mm-hmm. So this is the formula to extract only those people who are between these days. For example, this one, for example, is both true. Why? It's both true for the date, only MMDD, and both true for the year. Okay, but this, for example, This is true for the MMDD because it's October 12, but it's false for the month, for the year.
For the year.
For the year, yes, okay. I mean, of course, you can play with it like the vice versa, for example. This could be false for the MMDD. This is both false, okay? Because this date is beyond the upper date. Okay. Now the seasons of the year. You have a date and you want to find out which season it belongs. Of course, you can play with it. For example, here in Israel, winter is December, January, February, and spring is March, April, May, summer is June, July, August, and fall is September, October, November. So if you write here there are many methods to do it, of course. You don't need the lookup. The lookup is perhaps the simplest one, and you can find it easily. You can find that February 21st is in winter. You don't even need a year because the same in every year the same date falls on the same season. Okay.
Yeah.
This is something simple. Now we have a number 8.6, and we want to convert the decimal time to an analog time. So you don't want 8.6. This is the opposite what we did, if you remember, when we summed hours for an employee. So this is the opposite. We have a number, a decimal number. We want to change it to time in Excel. So you take the int and the mod multiplied by 60, and you get 836, and you can see that it is correct because 36 divided by 60 .6, 0.6. Okay. Okay, this is something very maybe one of the things I like best. Let me explain the situation first, and then we'll see if it's really practical or not. The situation is this. Suppose you give lessons, or you're a doctor and you run a clinic, or for example, you're a probation officer, or you run an unemployment agency, and you have some customers or people who are coming to your office or to your lessons, and you have reporting dates. For example, for Jane, the reporting dates are 1 and 2. 1 and 2 means Sunday and Monday. Rudy, for example, his reporting days are 1, 2, 4, and 5, which means he's supposed to report every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Dennis, for example, is supposed to report every Monday and Thursday. Lionel is supposed to report all days of the week, from Sunday to Saturday, and George only Wednesday and Thursday. So this formula here, the let formula, gives you the total reporting days for that month for each person. So if Jane, for example, is supposed to report in February on every Sunday and Monday, the total reported days in the whole month would be 8. And if Rudy is supposed to report on 4 days in each month, these are the days that he is supposed to report, the number. And Lionel, for example, is supposed to report on each and every day of the month. So if February 22 has only 28 days, then we see that the result is correct, etc., etc. This is a very nice and maybe could be practical for you if you want to use it. Let's go to the next example. Okay, this one is a very sophisticated method to show 2 ways of a calendar. This is actually a monthly calendar, but you can use it in 2 ways. You see, the month here is June, the year 2022. If you use the classic 0, then the calendar begins on the day of the first of that month. But if you use 1, then you can have the normal classic calendar, which means that it still begins on Wednesday, but you don't see the 3 days of the 3 first days of the month. They are empty. Okay, see if the classic is 0, it's the new method. And not the classic. The week starts on Sunday. This one, the week starts on Sunday. This is the classic. The non-classic, the week starts on the weekday of the month's first day. This one. We can choose if you like this one, the classic one, or the non-classic one. And the simple is very, very simple. Both cases, this simple formula covers both, but there's a trick behind. The trick is that we have some conditional formatting rules. And you can see, for example, if you want to go to the conditional formatting rules, if I write here in 1, okay, and I want to see the conditional formatting rules. I have here 2 rules, if you can see, which says
we cannot see it, Meni, but probably you
small.
shared.
Okay.
Probably no, yeah, you probably shared the
Yes, okay.
Excel application. Anyway,
you'll see. Okay, you'll see for yourself because as Célia says, I'm going to share the file with all the worksheets, and you can test for yourself, see for yourself, check for yourselves, and maybe you can find some bugs. I don't know. Okay. This is another trick in which you have several appearances of the student during the year, and you want to sum up the numbers of appearances per month. And the easiest way would be using the frequency. So I build a frequency of 12 months, and you can see, for example, January he didn't appear at all, and you can have even mixed dates, not necessarily order dates, sorted dates. Okay, January didn't appear, February, March, neither, but in April it had 2 days. These 2 days in April, no more April. Or on May, 0 dates, but on September, 4 dates. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So the frequency is the best method, in my opinion, to use a situation in which you want to sum for each and every month the number of appearances during a list of dates from the whole year. Okay. 3 methods, as we see previously about the part of the day. Remember, we talked about the part of the day. Célia, by the way, I can see that we are beyond the time. Yeah. Can you give me a few more minutes?
So how many more examples you have?
Maybe 3 or more, 3 or 5 more, 3 or 4 more. Okay.
Okay.
I can skip this one because these 3 methods.
It's similar to the other one, right?
Yes, they're similar, but they use another method, and each method is to use a simple trick so as to bypass a problem which the XLOOKUP or the lookup or the VLOOKUP doesn't supply. Okay, so I skip this one. I want to finish, so like it's a hierarchy starting from second, minute, hour, then day and week, then month and quarter, and now we have arrived to the year. And in the year, I want to show you some calendars, yearly calendar. First one is this yearly calendar, which is built very in a simple one formula using my beloved function sequence. This simple function, of course, you have to drag it from column 1 all the way to column 12, which is December, will yield every year the correct number of days. We're in 2021, as you remember, this is not a leap year. This is just an ordinary year, but if we will go to 2020, as we already know, this is a leap year, so have a look at February, we have 29 days, okay? But this is too bare, nothing to see. So what can we do to make it a bit like, so I devised this one. Oh, but this is too cluttered. The idea that you can see is the same method used in the previous sheet, but here you can see each and every day in a different color.
But this is by weekdays.
Yes, but this is too cluttered. For example, Sunday is purple. So you can see that January 2nd was Sunday, January 9th was Sunday, etc., etc., etc. But this is too cluttered. So I devised another method. I take this one. So here, if you change the weekday, you can see only the weekday that you want. For example, the same method. In the year 2022, if we want to see only Sunday, we can see only Sunday. If we want to see only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. And the last one is if you don't want the vertical calendar, you can create a horizontal calendar. The formula is a bit different, but the system is the same. The method is the same. If you want to see only Sunday, if you want to see only Monday, if you want to see only Tuesday, if you want to see only Wednesday, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, that's all. I think that this wraps it all. I hope you enjoyed the lecture or the webinar, or whatever. Thank you for all the attendees and the participants. See you on my next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's a couple of questions if you want
yes,
to
no problem.
take
Yes.
very few that I took note of. There's people thanking you for the session as well. And so some Henry was asking if you know that do you know if the Excel leap year bug also happens in is used, let's call it like that, in Outlook and Project, Microsoft Project? Do you
Never
know
checked
if
it.
that, yeah.
Not very likely, but I've never checked in Outlook. In Outlook, it's very unlikely because nobody has projects in 1900.
Yeah, who wants to schedule a meeting to the 1900s,
yes.
right?
Doesn't make any sense. Maybe in Outlook.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No, I
but at
tell
the
you
same,
why. In Outlook, if you want to meet your grandfather, you schedule a meeting in Outlook. Okay.
and Henry also was asking if the formula, but now I can't remember to which formula he was referring to. If it was one of the very first ones, if it could be implemented as a user-defined function. I guess if you use lambdas, any of those methods.
Yes, if you can handle lambdas, then you'll be able to make it a user-defined function. Any problem? I'm amazed how very few questions were asked after such a long session. And
yeah, I guess people were paying attention and it was fast, so I guess they were not going to miss it. They didn't want to miss it.
How can I see reactions of people?
So at the top, if you see the speech balloon icon, it's the chat window. It would open the chat window for you.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Does it deal, Henry also was asking, does it deal with people born on 29th of February? But again, I took note of the the question, but did not, I don't know in which point in time you were presenting, in which example you were presenting at that time. And I think Henry had to, no, Henry is still there. So Henry, if there's still something that you want to ask and it's not answered yet, feel free to unmute. Oh, the birthday example, he's saying, if the birthday example deals with people born on February 29th.
Excel knows exactly how to handle this. The only problem, the bug 1900, is only on February of that year. From that month on, everything is okay. It's a bug, but it's only a very limited bug. Okay, and of course the problem of the 29th of February is the problem of the birthday. You know, if somebody is born on the 29th of February, the problem is on which day he's supposed to celebrate, because this date appears only once in every 4 years. Yeah. So he has to decide either on the 28th of February or March the 1st.
March the 1st.
Yes.
I was born on a leap year, and I have a friend who was born on the 29th, and it was always always that question. We never knew when to celebrate, when to say happy birthday.
Okay.
Okay, so are there any other questions, comments? Anyone wanting to turn on their mics or video cameras, feel free to do so.
Yes, I just one comment, please. About two things that I referred before in the introduction. First of all, about the homophones, which I explained what are homophones in English. If anybody is interested, I'm going to supply the link to my blog.
Yes, I can. We will send. Let us know of any information you want us to share with attendees, and then we can send that. I will send that on the email after session. After session. Okay. Oh, okay. So they can contact you if you want to share your contact information. Again, feel free.
If anybody wants to buy my dictionary, is welcome also.
Okay, they'll let us know where they can find it. If you want to share your screen and put on the information there.
Yes.
And you can also send me that information, and I'm happy to send it with the email that I send every time after the meetup, a couple of days after we upload the video to YouTube, and we send the link to the recording, the link to the files, and any other information you want us to share with attendees, I can include on that email.